So here's what I've done now. Here's where we're at. The cold wax. I have burnt umber, ultramarine blue, and a little bit of alizarin crimson that I might have some fun with. And I think I'm going to add a little white, although I'm not sure about the white, but let's put it out there. And another color that I've been loving and love to throw in is the golden teal. Whether or not I use that this time, I don't know. I'm just going to keep it handy. So let us start with kind of a gray mixture. Obviously, this particular elephant does have a lot of gray tones. So I'm going to pull a little bit of this aside, and I'm going to pull a little bit of this aside, because if you mix these two together, you'll get black. Depending upon what tone of black you want, you'll get a warm black or a cool black. If you get them right in there 50-50, then it's a fairly what I call neutral black. I'm not sure even which way I want to lean yet. This is the early play stages. And this, as you can see, is pretty dark, and that's okay. That's what I want to start with, something nice and dark. And I'm going to just take this whole pile and throw it over here. Now obviously it looks a lot lighter gray because I am adding, this is white, but it will dry transparent. But your color, because you've diluted your color, obviously is going to be this color of gray. If you want it darker, then we need to mix in more paint. I think I will do that. I think I'm going to add, maybe we'll just take this whole pile, mix these two together, and add that in here. And we'll start with that and see where we go. That to me is a fairly cool gray. I really do think I am going to warm that up, so I'm going to add some more burnt umber. I need to put some more out on my palette anyway. So we'll take a little bit of this burnt umber and throw in here. And you can see how that really warms it up. Have a much warmer gray now. Not saying we won't use some cooler grays, but I just would like to start with this warmer color. All right. Now, how do we apply this? Well, pretty much any way it goes. You can certainly use your palette knife. I have also purchased these great little, I believe it's silicone brushes. They're very flexible. Maybe I'll show you over here. I think you'll get a better view. They're very flexible. You can see they come to a nice, and they're great. And I have those in a lot of different sizes. Okay. The other thing that you can use is something like this. Just you can get these through any online paint supply place, and that works really well. Also, you can use a paint roller, and we'll probably use that maybe later on, but not today probably. And then of course there's lots of different things you can use to pull texture through. This one happens to have 3 different sides. Don't know if we'll use that today or not, but just trying to give you an idea of how much fun. And you can always use your fingers and just about any other thing. Credit card, an old credit card. There's lots of different things that you can use. All right, so let's start. Let's just see what happens. Let's start with the palette knife. This lets me kind of have a look at the texture that I'm going to get from the background, the gesso itself. And I think that's going to work really, really well. So I do like the idea. of having a somewhat textured background when you're doing this, especially for the elephant. I think it's going to come in real handy. And you don't have to go up and down. You can go any direction you want. And you can leave your sides as they are, or if you want to protect them, you can put masking tape or painter's tape all the way around. And then when you're done with your painting, you peel that off, and then you can do what you would like to this. I'm too lazy to do that, so at the end of the painting, I just take a palette knife and basically scrape off the excess wax that is built up. I don't have any problems then going back and doing whatever I want to do. Okay, so just not really even thinking about it, just trying to get some interesting little textures and things happening. And well, let's see, let's go to another little area over here. And maybe use a little bit of this down in this corner. I love this stuff. It is just so much fun. Man, I might as well finish off my pile. Get a little up here. Okay, I think next thing I'm going to do, I need to put out a little more paint, a little more of the ultramarine blue. I'm going to shoot for some form of a purple, I think. Get some blue, get some alizarin. Add a little bit of the wax to it. All right, let's see what happens when we put some of this on here. Now I will tell you, when you're starting to layer back over, don't get in a hurry. If you really want to layer back over these, the colors that you've established already, you might want to wait, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes. Just let it kind of tack up a little bit. And that way that underlayer that you've just, you know, put on tends to stay put a little bit better. Just to show you, I'll go ahead and so you can see there's really not much difference between, but you can also see that I can drag a little bit. And this is all, actually this is starting to dry, which is kind of nice because it gives you the ability then to start really layering over it. I kind of like working in the smaller sections, so I think I am going to stick with my palette knife. Take a little bit of that there. Okay, let's just try a little bit of Alizarin Crimson on by itself and see what we get. That's really some interesting stuff there. More paint. Guess I was a little stingy with my paint. But I try to be stingy because it dries so quick. I'll get a little more out here. A little more Alizarin Crimson. Now the cool thing is, when I'm gonna do more than one layer. So if I don't like how something is looking once I apply it, I can just let it dry a little bit and go right on top of it, just like I'm doing the brown tones here. And I'm gonna go back into burnt umber. Not quite as dark, almost like a chocolatey tone here. Let's see what we get. Add some of this in here. This is almost what I call the experimental layer, I guess, because I'm just trying different colors. And seeing where we go from there. I'm going to go back to that purple. I'm going to write it right into the brown, I think, and try to get a little deeper, darker purple maybe. See what this looks like. Yeah, okay, let's see what that does. I think I like more of these tones than I do those tones, so I'm going to take a little bit of this and just glide over on top so I don't have quite so much. Yeah, some of those cross tones too. I kind of talked to myself, so I'm sorry about that, but it's part of my process. This bit's interesting, isn't it? Kind of a mess right now, but oh, you know, that's kind of the way it goes. All right, let's try a lighter gray tone. So I'll use my brown and my blue. I'm even going to throw in a little white this time. Now you can see how cool that is. And I want to warm that up, so I'll add some brown to it. I kind of like that color, so then we'll take a little bit of this. That looks kind of yummy, doesn't it? See, once you get that first layer on there and it starts to dry, you can really start to have some yummy textures come through. And at this point, I may want to get a little bit of that purple back now that I've got that yummier texture. See what we think. We'll mix a little bit of that up for here in a minute. I do want to cover up all the white, all of the white of the gesso board. I do want to get rid of that. Completely covered with the wax. Doesn't mean I might scratch through, and I'll show you that here in a minute. But for right now, that's my goal. Now I could have started this painting by doing an underpainting with acrylics, and then I wouldn't have the white, but I decided I wanted to try just doing something like this over the top of a pristine, and I'm not disappointed. I'm pretty happy with how things are moving along. I do want to brighten things up a bit though. I think at this point, and that's funny because actually I don't mind some of those white spots. They'll probably disappear eventually, but I don't mind them. I am going to make some more gray though. I think I do need, I think we'll go to a little bit lighter value gray. And I think I'm even going to let this one be a little on the cool side, just for kicks. Oh, and I know what we need, some light blue too. Okay, yeah, I have quite a bit. I need some more white. Yep, it needed that little bit of bright. Just take your time with this and let it really build, because the more layers you have, the more exciting and the more interesting things we'll be able to do with our little texture on our elephant. I really like that Alizarin Crimson too. I'm pretty lazy about, if you know, obviously you should be cleaning your colors in between. I'm a little lazy about that, so if you really want to get, you know, pure Alizarin Crimson, then obviously go to, make sure you have a clean palette knife and a clean palette. I'm not that concerned about it at this point. And I just thought of something else I think I might need is burnt sienna. We're going to try a little burnt sienna on here too. Yeah, don't be afraid to scrape back, because you'll get some interesting things happening with that as well. Alright, so burnt sienna. I do like the Alizarin Crimson, so I want to get a little more of that on there to play with. May have too much blue. I'm not going to get excited about that for now. I'm going to go ahead and add some of this teal. Maybe break up some of that blue. Ooh, I like that. But then I like the teal really well. I mean, I get excited about the teal colors. That's starting to look a little more balanced. Okay. Still think I want to get some lighter value gray. Let's mix a little burnt umber with this that I've got left over here. I think I'm going to stop. I don't want this to be too out there. See, that's how you can scratch. And then you can just move back over it too. Don't be afraid to do that if you want. And once it starts to dry, you can really apply some pressure and you won't have to worry about losing what you've got in the background. I think that's it, folks. I'm going to let that do its magic and dry overnight. And then the next step will be to apply our drawing. And I'll show you how I put mine on. But this definitely has to be dry first. And I do have some areas over here where I scratched back into the white of the gesso board, but I'm going to leave those alone for now. We'll fix those up later. Not a problem at all. We may even scratch some of those back in to get some highlights when we're doing our elephant. Could be fun. Okay.